fellow Planeswalkers, I'm James and welcome back to the Commander at Arms YouTube channel. This week on the channel we are going to be doing a deck tech for Tiamat, but before that, if you like this video, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and leave a comment in the comment section below for the algorithm. Share it with your friends, share it with everybody you know, go to your LGS and talk about Commander at Arms, let them know where to find us, and let's get into this video. So we're going to be talking about our brand new deck that I've just made for Tiamat. It is 2 and Wurberg for a 7/7 flying dragon god that says when Tiamat enters the battlefield, if you cast it, you search your library for up to 5 dragon cards not named Tiamat that each have different names, reveal them, put them into your hand, then shuffle. So we're going to go through our ramp and card draw to begin with. That's what we usually do here on the show. So we're going to go through. We've talked about a lot of these before, but some of them we haven't. So let's get into it really quickly. We've got Arcane Signet. It is a 2-mana artifact that taps for any color. We have Birds of Paradise. It is 1 green that taps for any color. We have Chromatic Lantern. It is a 3-mana rock that lands tap for any color, and you also get it to tap for 1 color. We have Dockside Extortionist. Is 1 and a red for a Goblin Pirate that says when it ETBs, you create X treasure tokens equal to the number of artifacts and enchantments your opponents control. We also have Dragon's Horde. This is a 3-drop artifact that says when a dragon enters the battlefield under your control, put a gold counter on Dragon's Horde. Then has 2 activated abilities. The first one, you can remove a gold counter from Dragon's Horde to draw a card, or you can tap to add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool. We have Dragon Lord's Servant. This is a 1 and a red for a 1/3 Goblin Shaman that says dragon spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. We also have Dragon's Speaker Shaman. It is 1 and 2 red for a 2/2 Human Barbarian Shaman that says dragon spells you cast cost 2 less to cast. We also have Dryad of the Elysian Grove. It is 2 and a green, for a 2/4 nymph that says you may play an additional land on each of your turns, and lands you control are every basic land type in addition to their other types. We also have Felwar Stone. It is a 2-mana artifact rock that says it taps for 1 mana of any color a land an opponent controls could produce. We also have Fist of Suns. It is a 3-drop that says you may pay Wurberg rather than pay the mana cost for spells that you cast. We also have Herald's Horn. This is a 3-drop artifact that says as Herald's Horn enters the battlefield, choose a creature type. Creature spells you cast of the chosen type cost 1 less to cast, and at the beginning of your upkeep, look at the top card of your library. If it's a creature card of the chosen type, you may reveal it and put it into your hand. So we're going to be talking about dragons. We're going to name dragons with this, always naming Dargons. We have Mana Crypt. It is a 0-drop that taps for 2 and you take damage at the beginning of your upkeep. Everyone knows Mana Crypt. We're going to move on to Morophon the Boundless. This is a 7-drop 6/6 changeling that says as Morophon the Boundless enters the battlefield, choose a creature type. Spells of the chosen type you cast cost Wurberg less to cast. This effect reduces only the amount of colored mana you pay. Other creatures you control get +1/+1. So if you can already see what's going on here, we've got Morophon naming dragons, we've got Fist of Suns. That just means all of our dragons cost 0. We don't have a casting cost on our dragons anymore whatsoever. So we can play every single dragon in this deck for free. It's amazing. We have Ramos, Dragon Engine. This is a 6-drop 4/4 with flying. This is when you cast a spell, put a +1/+1 counter on Ramos Dragon Engine for each color of that spell's color, I guess, yeah. Remove 5 +1/+1 counters from Ramos, add double Wurberg to your mana pool, activate this ability only once each turn. We have Sol Ring. Yep, everyone knows Sol Ring. 1 mana, taps for 2. Very, very strong turn 1 play in regular casual commander. We have Urza's Incubator. It is a 3-drop artifact that says as Urza's Incubator enters the battlefield, choose a creature type. Creatures spells of the chosen type cost 2 less to cast. Let's move on now to our card draw. We've only got 7 card draw spells in this deck because we're pretty much going to be tutoring up everything we need with some of the other cards and also Tiamat. So we have Garruk's Uprising. It is 2 and a green for an enchantment that says when it ETBs, if you control a creature with power 4 or greater, you draw a card. Creatures you control have trample, and whenever a creature with power 4 or greater enters the battlefield under your control, draw a card. We also have Guardian Project, 3 and a green for an enchantment that says whenever a non-token creature enters the battlefield under your control, if it doesn't have the same name as another creature you control or creature card in your graveyard, you draw a card. We have Mystic Remora next. It is a 1 blue drop enchantment with cumulative upkeep 1. So basically whenever you in your upkeep, you then put a counter on it, you pay that, you keep going, you either keep it or sack it. Usually put it on turn 1 or turn 2, get a couple cards out of it, but it's basically whenever target opponent successfully casts a non-creature spell, you may draw a card. That player may pay 4 generic mana to counter this effect. We have Ristic Study. Are you gonna pay the 1? Probably not. So it's 2 and a blue for an enchantment that says whenever an opponent plays a spell, you may draw a card unless that player pays 1. We have Tiamat Ascendancy. This is Tiamat, so it's green, blue, and a red for an enchantment that says creatures you control have haste, and whenever a creature with power 4 or greater enters the battlefield, you may draw a card. We also have Veil of Summer. This is 1 green for an instant that says draw a card if an opponent has cast a blue or black spell this turn. Spells you control can't be countered this turn. You and permanents you control gain hexproof from blue and from black until end of turn. This card is a powerhouse, and it's an uncommon. We also have Windfall. It is 2 and a blue for a sorcery that says each player discards their hand, then draws cards equal to the greatest number of cards a player discarded this way. Don't worry about it. If you put dragons in the graveyard, we can get them back. All right, let's move on to the single target removal. We have Assassin's Trophy first. This is Golgari, so green and a black for an instant that says destroy target permanent and opponent controls. Its controller may search their library for a basic land card, put it onto the battlefield, then shuffle their library. We have Counterspell, 2 blue, counter target spell. Simple, easy. We have Swan Song. It is 1 blue mana for an instant that says counter target enchantment, instant, or sorcery spell. Its controller creates a 2/2 bird creature token with flying. We also have Swords to Plowshares. It is a 1 white for an instant that says exile target creature. Its controller gains life equal to its power. All right, let's get into the meat and potatoes of this. What are we going to be searching up with our commander? And that is all of these dragon creatures. So we have Ataka World Render first here. It is 5 and Gruul for a 6/4 dragon with flying and trample, and says whenever a dragon you control attacks, it gains double strike until end of turn. We have Balefire Dragon. It is 5 and 2 red for a 6/6 dragon with flying. It says whenever Balefire Dragon deals combat damage to a player, it deals that much damage to each creature that player controls. Pretty much just single target removal on a creature. We have Belladraurus Witherbloom. It is 5 and Golgari for a 4/4 Elder Dragon with flying that says at the beginning of each upkeep, create a 1/1 black and green pest creature token with when this creature dies, you gain 1 life, and it has an activated ability to pay 10 life and untap all lands you control. Activate this ability only once each turn. We have Dragon Lord Dramoka. It is 4 and Selesnya for a 5/7 Elder Dragon that says Dragon Lord Dramoka can't be countered, has flying and lifelink, and also says your opponents can't cast spells during your turn. We have Dragon Lord Ojutai. This is 3 and Azorius for a 5/4 Elder Dragon with flying. This is Dragon Lord Ojutai has hexproof as long as it's untapped. Whenever Dragon Lord Ojutai deals combat damage to a player, look at the top 3 cards of your library, put one of them into your hand and the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. We also have Dragon Lord Cylimgar. It is 4 and Dimir for a 3/5 Elder Dragon with flying death touch. When Dragon Lord Cylimgar ETBs, gain control of target creature or planeswalker for as long as you control Dragon Lord Cylimgar. We also have Dramoka the Eternal. It is 3 and Selesnya for a 5/5 dragon with flying. This is whenever a dragon you control attacks, you bolster 2. We have Goldspan Dragon. It is 3 and 2 red for a 4/4 dragon with flying and haste. It says whenever Goldspan Dragon attacks or becomes a target of a spell, you create a treasure token, and treasure tokens you have tapped, sacrifice this artifact, add 2 mana of any one color to your mana pool. That is massively huge. We have Karthus Tyrant of Jund. This is 4 and Jund for a 7/7 dragon, flying haste. When Karthus Tyrant of Jund enters the battlefield, gain control of all dragons, then untap all dragons. Other dragons you control have haste. After that, we have Lathis, Dragon Queen. It is 4 and 2 red for a 6/6 dragon with flying. This is whenever another non-token dragon enters the battlefield under your control, create a 5/5 red dragon creature token with flying, and also gives all of your dragons fire breathing for 1 and a red. We have Savage Ventmore. This is 4 and Gruul for a 4/4 flying dragon that says whenever Savage Ventmore attacks, add 3 red and 3 green until end of turn. You don't lose this mana as steps and phases end. We also have Scale Lord Reckoner. It is 3 and 2 white for a 4/4 dragon with flying that says whenever a dragon you control becomes the target of a spell or ability an opponent controls, destroy target non-land permanent that player controls. So just more like single target removal. We have Scion of Draco. It is a 12 mana 4/4 artifact creature dragon that has domain. So it's this spell costs 2 less to cast for each basic land type among lands you control, has flying, and each creature you control has vigilance if it's white, hexproof if it's blue, lifelink if it's black, first strike if it's red, and trample if it's green. And this is why we're playing Dryad of Elysian Grove. So all of our lands are all basic land types. This thing costs 2 mana for a 4/4 that buffs pretty much the rest of your team and gives them all the keywords that you've ever wanted, ever. We're playing Scion of the Dragon. So this is Wooburg for a 4/4 flying dragon avatar with an activated ability of 2. Search your library for a dragon permanent card and put it onto the put it into your graveyard. If you do, Scion of the Dragon becomes a copy of that card until end of turn. Then shuffle your library. Again, just more ways to put things in the graveyard so we can pull them back out again. We have Scourge of Valkys. It is 2 and 3 red for a 4/4 dragon with flying that says whenever Scourge of Valkys or another dragon enters the battlefield under your control, it deals X damage to any target where X is the number of dragons you control, and also it has fire breathing. We have Cylimgar the Drifting Death. It is 4 and Demir for a 3/7 dragon with flying and hexproof. Whenever a dragon you control attacks, creatures defending player control get -1/-1 until end of turn. We have Terror of the Peaks. This is 3 mana and 2 red for a 5/4 dragon with flying that says spells your opponents cast that target Terror of the Peaks cost an additional 3 life to cast. Whenever another creature enters the battlefield under your control, Terror of the Peaks deals damage equal to that creature's power to any target. So we're going to be playing a lot of dragons and a lot of big things. So this is going to be doing so much damage. We have the Dragon, because of course we're playing the Dragon in a dragon deck. We have to, right? This is 4 mana and Wooburg for a 10/10 dragon avatar with Eminence. That's a command zone thing. We're not worrying about that. So it has flying and says whenever 1 or more dragons you control attacks, draw that many cards, then you may put a permanent card from your hand onto the battlefield. This is huge. Draws us cards and puts things on the battlefield for free. We have Utvara Hellkite. It is 6 and 2 red for a 6/6 dragon with flying that says whenever a dragon you control attacks, create a 6/6 red dragon creature token with flying. This is massively huge. All of our creatures are huge, and it's going to be so good to get them out and swing out for lethal with them. All right, so we've only got a couple more things to go through right now before we get out of here for the week. We have Cyclonic Rift as just a good way to get everything off the board. Everyone knows Cyclonic Rift. We also have Heroic Intervention, makes our stuff hexproof and indestructible till end of turn so we can get in for more damage. After that, we're going to go through the value artifacts. We have Dragon Arch. This is a 5-drop artifact with an activated ability of 2 mana and tap. Put a multicolored creature card from your hand into play. This is another way of just negating the whole having to pay for dragons, so you can just put them straight into the battlefield. We also have Maskwood Nexus. This is a 4-drop artifact that say creatures you control are every creature type. The same is true for creature spells you control and creature cards you own that aren't on the battlefield, which means it's also in your deck as well. And it makes a 2/2 blue shapeshifter for 3 mana and taps it. But this also means that when we're playing Tiamat, or when we cast Tiamat with Maskwood Nexus on the field, we can literally go and tutor for any single card or creature card, in our deck. So we can go and get our Dockside if we need it. We can go and get anything else we literally need. We need to reduce the cost of things. Go and get a Dragon Speaker Shaman. Go get a Dragon Lord Servant. Go get Dockside Extortions. Go get a Birds of Paradise if you need to. If you need the end game stuff, go and pull out any of the other big old dragons in this deck and start just smashing face really, really fast and really, really quickly. What are some other ways that we can tutor in this deck? We have 4 ways to tutor in this deck. We have Demonic Tutor. It is 1 and a black for a sorcery. Search your library for a card, put it in your hand, shuffle your library. We have Enlightened Tutor. This is a 1 white for an instant, search your library for an instant. Search your library for a artifact or enchantment card. Put it on top of your library, and then shuffle. Shuffle, then put it on top of your library. Sarkon's Triumph. This is 2 and a red for an instant that says search your library for a dragon creature card. Reveal it. Put it onto the battle. Put it into your hand. Then shuffle your library. Then we have Vampiric Tutor. It is 1 black for an instant, search your library for a card, then shuffle your library, put that card on top of it, you lose 2 life. So again, with Maskwood Nexus, Sarkon's Triumph says we can literally go for 3 mana, we can go and get anything we need out of our deck that is a creature. All right, after that, we have some value enchantments here. The first one is Aggravated Assault. This is a good way of going infinite and having infinite amount of combat steps with Savage Ventmaw, because it lets you float 6 mana, and Aggravated Assault is only 5 mana to get an additional combat phase. So Aggravated Assault is 2 and a red for an enchantment that has an activated ability of 3 and 2 red. You untap all creatures you control after this phase. There's an additional combat phase, followed by an additional main phase. Play this ability only anytime you could play a sorcery. So because you get an additional main phase, you can do it at sorcery speed there. You attack with Savage Ventmaw, float the 6, activate Aggravated Assault in the next main phase, keep going, and keep going. Start with Dragon on the field and the ability to just keep drawing cards and putting more dragons out there. And then having Crucible of Fire as well. So 3 and a red for an enchantment that literally says all dragon creatures you control get +3/+3. And then if we have Dragon Tempest on the field, as well as anything else that gives haste, we're swinging out even more. And this Dragon Tempest is 1 and a red for an enchantment. And it says whenever a creature with flying enters the battlefield under your control, it gains haste until end of turn. And whenever a dragon enters the battlefield under your control, it deals X damage to target creature or player, where X is the number of dragons you control. So it's kind of like Terror of the Peaks, but in enchantment form. We have Mirari's Wake. It is 3 green and a white for an enchantment. Creatures you control get +1/+1, and whenever you tap a land for mana, it produces 1 of any type that land could produce. We have Rhythm of the Wild. It is 1 red and a green for an enchantment that says creatures you control can't be countered, and non-token creatures enter the battlefield with Riot, which means they either come in with haste or they come in with a +1/+1 counter. Last but not least, we have 2 last cards to talk about here. We have Sarkon Unbroken. This is a Tiamat colored planeswalker that comes in with 4 loyalties. He has 3 activated abilities. The first one is +1, draw a card, then add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool. -2, put a 4/4 red dragon creature token with flying onto the battlefield. And -8, search your library for any number of dragon creature cards and put them onto the battlefield, then shuffle your library. If you ever get that ultimate, you go and get Terror of the Peaks, and then, you want to get Terror of the Peaks no matter what. And then you basically spew everything out and you win the game that way. If that doesn't help, then you can just swing out for the win, I guess. We have Crocs of Fate. This is a dragon-based board wipe. It is 3 and 2 black for a sorcery. Destroy all dragons or destroy all non-dragons. That's amazing. If you want to destroy all dragons and then pull them back later, you can, because we have a decent amount of graveyard getter backers. So we've got 4 graveyard cards that I almost forgot to talk about, but here they are. We have Bladewing the Risen. This is 3 double red, double black for a 4/4 flying zombie dragon that says when Bladewing the Risen enters the battlefield, you may return target dragon permanent card from your graveyard to the battlefield, and has fire breathing for Rakdos. We have Eerie Ultimatum. It is double white, triple black, and double green for a sorcery that says you return any number of permanent cards with different names from your graveyard to the battlefield. We also have Patriarch's Bidding. This is 3 and 2 black for a sorcery that says each player chooses a creature type. Each player returns all creature cards of a type chosen this way from their graveyard to the battlefield. So it doesn't matter what your opponents are going to get, because we're going to get more value out of them with our dragons. We also have Teneb the Harvester. This is 3 and Abzan for a 6/6 dragon with flying that says when Teneb the Harvester deals combat damage to a player, you may pay 2 and a black. If you do, put target creature card from a graveyard onto the battlefield under your control. So that's it. And then I would go through the lands, but I think lands and land bases are very, very personal. This is my version of the land base. It's basically shocks and everything else that I kind of want in a 5-color deck, but that's it. That is our Tiamat Dragon deck tech. Tell me what you think in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the YouTube channel. If you want to get a merch shirt, you can do that at the description below. We're going to have everything in there. If you want to get at us, you can do that on Twitter at CMDR@arms. If you want to get this deck or anything else, a seal product, support your local game stores, and while buying online, do that through our TCG affiliate link, which is tcgplayer.com/commander@arms. Also want to thank all of our patrons, because again, you guys allow us to do all of this extra content for you and helped us push into video content. So if you want to become a patron and support the channel directly, you can do that at patreon.com/commander@arms. And with that, I'm James, and this has been a Commander at Arms Deck Tech. Peace.
See ya.